Hello everybody and welcome to my video. Today I'll be showing you how I make a prom dress with this beautiful blue fabric that I got for Christmas. This is the plan. The sketch consists of a corset top and a skirt and gloves. I've already made the pattern for the corset before and sewn it together, so I know that this part of the plan will work. But I'll just figure out how to make the skirt and the gloves along the way. But I still have a very detailed description of how I will sew the dress. Step 1 is sewing the corset with the pattern I had already made before. Step 2, sewing the skirt, and step 3, the gloves. So I guess we'll just get into it and start sewing the corsets. As you can see, I have two huge pieces of fabric and I'll just put the measurements right here. I'll start with the smaller one though and make the bodice. This is the pattern for the corset bodice. I created it by just draping a fabric on my bodice that has the exact same measurements as me. And this is how the pattern makes your corset look. So we're going for that corset top look. Then I just placed my pattern pieces onto a folded fabric. They already include the seam allowance, so I didn't have to add that. And I just traced all the pieces with my chalk. What you can see me doing here though with this rectangle shape is the back piece, so the piece that goes onto the back, and I had to make this a little bit longer so that it would fit me. And then I cut out all the pieces. This of course leaves me with 2 layers of fabric because I had folded the fabric before. So each pattern piece is cut out basically 2 times. One for the left side and one for the right side of the bodice. We'll have to make that 2 times though because we need an outer shell and a lining. And then I continued sewing. This is what the outer shell looked like. I just pinned it together and ran it through my sewing machine. And then this is what the outer shell of the bodice looked like. Then I just cut off the excess fabric on the bottom of the bodice. And then I cut out the pattern pieces for the lining of the bodice. I also tried out some stitches because I was really struggling with the stitch length and everything, with the tension. And then it was time for me to sew the lining pieces together. By the way, I'm using the tension of 3.5 and a length of 3. Now that the shell and the lining are done, we have to iron those seams so that the boning can go in there later. Now it's time to cut the boning. I'll put the link of my boning in the description box below. For the boning, cut it so that there's some space by the edges because you'll have to sew over that later. As you can see, I cut mine way shorter than the normal length of this stitch. And also round up the edges with your scissors so that it doesn't poke through your fabric. Now make sure to iron this boning first. Don't just go ahead and sew it on your lining like me. But anyways, once you've ironed your boning, you can go ahead and just sew that on. But keep in mind though to sew slowly because that enables you to make straighter lines and so that the fabric doesn't gather up under your sewing foot. And keep in mind that we will be able to see these stitches later as they are on the outer shell of the bodice. This is what it probably looks like by now. This is just, the outer shell. But I just didn't iron the boning first. Anyways, now it's time to sew the outer shell onto the lining. I also made some straps, which you can see between the lining and the outer shell, but you'll see that later in this video. But basically, you would just sew the upper edges of the pieces together now. and this is what it would look like. Then I just went ahead and ironed these edges down. This gives your corset a nice clean look and will also definitely make it easier for you to sew the skirt onto the bodice later on.
Hello. I had a serious problem with the bodice. I had not straightened these curves of the boning first, so my bodice looks like this. Completely curved. Because the boning came on a roll like this. So obviously, if you cut out boning straps, they're gonna be curved. So then, after I realized that this will probably not look so good if it's like that curved, I tried to iron it flat with my iron. I set it too hot, and then I burnt my fabric. I already cut it off right here. This is where I burned it, somewhere on the back, and so it's not usable for me anymore. Crush. But I already sewed a new one. This time I ironed the boning first. I really recommend doing this because if you have straight boning, it's gonna look so much better. And yeah, of course, at the end I will put a zipper onto the back pieces here. So always remember to iron your boning first and to not set your iron too hot. If you try to iron a fabric like polyester, satin, something like that, yeah. And I kind of fell in love with the corset. Of course, I have to add some straps as well. And then I think we're basically done.
Yeah, after this very important interruption, I'm finally showing you how to make the straps. And for that, you'll just have to pin pretty side to pretty side. I did that with these clips and sew down a straight line. Basically like 1/2 inch or like 1 centimeter. And I did that 2 times. And I cut out the excess fabric on the edges. Then to turn that whole thing inside out, I inserted a pin and pushed it through this tunnel. You can also just do that with a bobby pin or a bobby pin sticked to a rubber band basically, and then just pull it through like that. For the skirt, I first draped a cover on my mannequin just to see how long I would like my skirt to be and how I'm gonna create the ruffles. For the ruffles or the folds of the skirt, I also did a sketch, as you can see here. I just wanted to fold each fold like that.
I wrapped this around my waist 3 times. Okay.
For the length of the skirt, be sure to make it long enough because you can never add fabric, but you can always take fabric away. And then after determining my length and my width, I just cut the skirt to the desired measurements. Now I had a rectangle, which I pinned to the skirt. I put 3 pins into the skirt, 1 in the middle, then 1 on the left side, so the middle of the left side, and then 1 in the middle of the right side. And I just pinned it to the skirt like that. Each fold 4.5 centimeters. It was a very complicated process to find out how I would fold the skirt, and it took me a lot of time to figure it out. So right here you see my sketch. I had 190 centimeters of fabric lengthwise, and I wanted to create 4.5 centimeter folds, so they would look like this. Fabric would fold like this. And of course we have it 3 times. One time the 4.5 centimeter fold at the back, then it folds like this and then folds like this. So we have 3 times 4.5 centimeters, which means 13.5 centimeters in total for getting this fold. Calculated it this way, and it turned out that I would have 14 folds if I did folds of 4.5 centimeters on the length
of the skirt. But I knew I wanted a zipper in the back, so I took away 2 and was left with 12 folds in total, which is exactly what you can see here, 12 folds. So in the front, 4.5 centimeter folds right here, right here, right here. So we have 6 folds on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Zipper. And on the other side, it's just the same, but in the other direction, folded in this direction. And I will sew over this tomorrow and kind of try to get it to fit to the bodice.
I hope you understood the way I calculated the folds, but then it was time to just pin them together and to iron them flat so I can sew over them very nicely and neatly.
Hello. I have another problem with the bodice now. You can see that it won't fit. Because the skirt, the ends of the skirt don't touch in the back, so I would like have to sew it like that, and I don't want to do that. So apparently everything does work out, and it actually looks so good. I just pinned it on. I pinned on the corset in the right way, and it actually fits me on the back now. Wow. And it kind of actually, like, the skirt closes up at the back now. Wow. So I think I'm just gonna sew the skirt onto the bodice now and then sew the straps. Because this looks good! I never thought I'd be able to make the dress of my dreams. I'm actually able to make them now, and it's like a blessing. Alright, so now I have sewn the bodice onto the skirt. I do have to sew over it one more time though, because I didn't pull the skirt in enough, so you can see the thread peeking from where I had sewn the skirt together. For the back of the dress, I have already installed the zipper. I mean, not really installed. I just put some stitches here, as you can see, by hand, to see if it fits me. And right here, I'm gonna do the same thing. I just have the zipper pinned in place, and I will stitch over it with my hand, by hand. This is what the back of the dress is looking like right now. I have sewn the zipper in for the most part. And now I will just close off the back of the dress and put the 2 remaining edges together at the back. Almost complete! So what I did just now is sew one straight line on the hem. So I have the plan to just fold it over like this, then iron that down and fold it over one more time and then sew a line. So, but I don't know if this will work. I just saw it on YouTube because this is supposed to make your curved hem, because I have some curved parts in this hem, make your curved hem more flat. Okay, literally all the work was for nothing. I just tried sewing along this curved hem. And, well, it kind of wrinkles. I don't know why. Maybe because it has to stretch so far. And it just doesn't look good, so... yeah, this was just like a test. So, to see if it works, and it obviously doesn't, so... I'm gonna have to figure out another method on how to actually hem this dress. Why? How? So, right now I'm doing this whole thing again, and I'm trying out a technique I saw on YouTube. So, first step is basically to just fold your fabric like this and sew a line very, very close to the edge. Then I'm gonna snip off the excess fabric here and roll it around another time and then sew. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Okay, so right now I'm done sewing the first line. It actually doesn't look so bad because I sewed it so close to the edge. It doesn't bunch up so much, but we still have some pretty weird looking edges on some parts, but on some parts it actually looks fine. And I think for doing this for the first time, it's impressively clean. Now I think I'll just snip this off, like this excess fabric, and then I'll roll it around one more time and sew over that. So it's all snipped off now, but the problem now is that it doesn't drape so beautifully anymore. I also pressed it down with my iron just now, and it's still kind of, I mean, it bunches up like that, as you can see. It's like it's gathered right here where it's not supposed to be gathered. But I don't think that's a major issue. I think it'll be fine. I mean, I'm not a pro at this. I think this demonstrates the problem kind of further because you can actually see like this curve now on this part. I'll just show you how I do it, how she did it in the video. She said to go with the flow of the curve. Go with the flow of the curve. Oh mein Gott, das ist so gut geworden. I am finally done with the dress. Woo! I mean, it's almost ready, but why does the corset kind of look bulky? But it's okay. It's like my first formal dress. Hi, it's basically 1.5 years later. It's June 2026. I started this dress in like January 2025. I only got to finish it now because I really want to wear it when I get my final report cards next week. And I thought that would be a very good occasion to wear it. It's pretty much complete now. I mean, there's always something to improve on the dresses you make yourself. I did like improve the zipper today. I think the only two things I need to improve on this dress are, one, the straps, because they're not as secure as I thought I had sewn them. Maybe even secure the zipper in the back a little bit more so it doesn't just fall off. But yeah, it's done. It's finally done, and after a year and a half, I finally get to wear it. How great is that? While editing this video, I thought, wow, I struggled like so much with so many things on this dress, and I still somehow finished it. And I think it's just amazing that you can learn so many things. And you can learn so many things online nowadays. I literally researched so many things on YouTube for this dress, and I watched as many videos on as many topics as I needed to actually be able to finish this dress, because I didn't go to fashion school or anything. I don't know the methods to do a hem, for example. That's why I looked it up on YouTube, and then people post it up on there, and then they show you how to do it. I taught myself a lot while making this dress through YouTube. It's a really good platform to just learn any new skill, and I don't think you need to like spend a lot of money on fashion school. You can do it all by yourself. And I'm actually amazed at how professionally I sewed this dress together. I don't think I would be able to sew a dress right now that looks like that. So if you're wondering like, oh, can I also make such a beautiful dress? Yes, you can. You just have to put in time, effort, YouTube videos. I don't know, sometimes I set like 5 hours a day on this dress, just trying to get the hem perfect, just trying to figure out a method on how to sew this whole thing together, how to construct it, how to build this dress. You know, it was such a difficult process to sew this. You can do anything if you want to. You just have to put in time and effort, and then you can learn basically anything. Isn't that so inspiring? Yeah, I'm just looking at this dress right now because it's actually so beautiful, and I can't believe I did this. So yeah, this is your sign. Go make a prom dress yourself. With that being said, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one. Please remember to like this video. It cost me a lot of effort, a lot of time of my life, so I would really just appreciate it if you appreciated my video and maybe gave it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye, guys.